Today, Governor DeSantis directed all 67 counties to tell his office everything they've done in response to the pandemic. That includes any orders or mandates the county issued, like masks or curfews. DeSantis also wants to know if those counties added punishments or fines to the orders. We've reached out to the governor's office to get some clarification on how that information will be used. We'll let you know once we get a response. The governor also signed an executive order to allow Palm Beach County to move into phase 2 of reopening. That means gyms can reopen and retail locations can increase their indoor capacity. That begins next Tuesday after Labor Day. Broward and Miami-Dade stay in phase 1, so they have some limitations on business operations and capacity.